Welcome to the Laugh Support Podcast with your hosts, Michele VanDusen and June Colson. A couple of clean comedians here to support each other and others through comedy's wacky and winding roads. They'll talk about highs and lows and some traumatizing shows. So get ready, get set, let's go!
All right. Welcome to the Laugh Support Podcast presented by the Hot Breath Network. I am June Colson here with my amazing friend. Oh, you're just going to jump in and say it? You weren't even going to let me say it? With my controlling co-host, Michele VanDusen. Go ahead, Michele. Say hello.
Hello. Why don't we start this again?
No, I think it's fine. This is real world. This is real life. This is also really kind of how my day is going anyway, right?
When you get paused. You paused. I thought I was just talking now.
Wait, I paused.
You never take a breath. I finally got one word in.
This is true. I will give you that much. He's like, wait a minute. She paused. Somebody quick say something.
Sorry. Look, we're really new at this still, and at some point, this will become maybe a good show. I don't know. Maybe it is a good show now, but we have a lot of issues. So go ahead, June. You're hosting today.
You think you had to tell them that we're new at this as if people haven't already noticed that we have no idea what we're doing?
Well, I mean, sure, it might be episode 4, but that could be 400, 4,000. They don't know.
Yeah,
They know.
This is episode 4 of season 400. It may feel that way at this point. But here we are. We're doing it. We're doing episode 4. And really, okay, so it's the Laugh Support Podcast. And we are just basically here to offer a positive environment and a supportive place for people who are interested in clean comedy and Christian comedy, right? And we just talk about people who've helped us, who helped you along the way, some helpless moments that we've had today. Yes, today has been a very helpless moment. When you get ready to record a podcast and your co-host says, okay, June, let's just take a breath. Let's just take a breath. And I
ready, a deep breath.
I did. And then I went,
you didn't let it out.
Because that's how mature I am right now. Life can be overwhelming. So we know mine is right now. How about you? How's your life? How are things looking for you, VanDusen?
My life is good. I don't go anywhere. I don't do anything. I just sit in my chair. Life is good. I'm really enjoying our time together and us trying to figure out technology, which you're a little better than I am at this, definitely. So other than that, besides, how are we going to do this? Okay, I did hit record, right? Yeah, I see the button at the top.
Okay, good. I mean, because there's been so much magic in the first 3 minutes of this that what if it was lost and the world didn't get gifted by our amazing banter?
Right? Oh, I did find out, though, if you hit record and then you stop recording, that's not the same thing as pausing. So and I don't know how to pause this. So we wouldn't even be able to pause and then continue. If I hit stop, then we'd have to set up a whole new page to do this again. I did learn that the hard way, just FYI.
Yes.
Anyway, no, life is good. My dog is old, so she's up and down all night long, which means I'm up and down all night long. So that's not fun. What's kind of nice is our church is open. It's been open since the summer, and we've been able to go to church on the weekends, which has been really nice. And also small groups just started again. So we have, you can have the small group or you can have this mid-sized group. And the mid-sized groups is more people, but they meet at the church in a bigger room. So it's also like having like a small, like you have a table. So you have like a small group at a mid-sized group Bible study. So it's kind of cool.
what is small group at your church? Because you're on one of those churches that you drove one time and showed me like a video of, and here's the youth campus, and here's this campus, and here's the school campus, and and I go to like a country church in Kentucky, and there's one campus. We don't even call it a campus because that seems. But yeah, like there's one building. We don't have
Yeah, but
multiple.
you did show me like, and here's the brown cow, and then here's the white cow, and
Yes.
don't forget the piglets over there. They're new this week.
It is farmland. This is true. All by church is rows of corn and all of that. So for a small group, I imagine like if I'm in a small group, there's like 8 of us. And I imagine your small group is like 800 or less is like the
No. The small groups we limit to 8 to 10 people. And then, so that's why the mid-sized group, so you'll have like pockets of 8 to 10 people in a bigger group. So if you all want to study the same thing, all these different groups. So let's say there's, 30 groups of 8 to 10 people, so that's where you get the 300 people, whatever. But it's still all, socially distanced, spaced out, because it's the auditorium, I think, can fit a couple thousand.
oh,
So
yes, of course.
yeah, but with the restrictions right now, you have, each row, every other row is open, and, things like that. So
Who would have ever thought that pastors could relate so closely to comedians right now, because they're all having kind of the same issues of trying to get people together and bring some joy and peace in people's lives and gather and pastors and comedians all went to Zoom. And they all are trying to figure out, how to do what they do in these social distancing moments and that kind of thing. And it's crazy. I did a Valentine's Day banquet, and like I could relate to what the pastor was dealing with in his congregation through what we're dealing with comedy. Who would have thought those two, worlds would cross like that? Kind of
oh
crazy.
yeah. Yeah, it's crazy. And the thing is if you're doing a Valentine's banquet, I mean, part of the whole reason that you would do a banquet is to get the food. So if you're doing a banquet and you're not even there, well, then why are you doing it? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm into the food. Hey, so like last week or the last episode, who knows how many times this is going to come out. But our last episode, we were about to hear about your first paid gig.
Ooh, yeah.
And I have been waiting and waiting and waiting to hear this story, because I know it's a good one, because you're like, oh no, I'm going to save it for the podcast. And you kept giving me all these teasers, but you won't tell me the story.
Oh,
So June, now is your moment. Now is your moment
yes.
to tell us about your first paid gig. Go.
All right, let's get into it. So yeah, my first paid gig, we call this laugh support because, we want comedians to be supporting each other. And this is another story where Michelle, you actually supported me, and you probably don't even remember it. But so what happened was I had just left the conference in 2018, I think. And I had gone on stage for the first time. And yes, and it was super exciting. We talked about that in the first episode, how you were there and helped me do that. And so as I was leaving the conference, I was headed to my car in the parking lot, and there was another comedian that doesn't live really too far from me.
Mhm.
And he's a professional and a super amazing guy. I had seen him perform and was really impressed with him. And so on our way to the car, he mentioned that, sometime he'd like to work with me. And I was like, oh, wow, that would be amazing, because I was really impressed with him and he seemed like a really nice guy. So I was at home one afternoon and I got a Facebook message from this comedian, and he said, hey, I'm doing a show. It's like an hour and 15 minutes from your house. Would you like to come and open it? Just do about 5 minutes, right? Which is all I had, like 3 minutes. So 5 minutes was a stretch at this point. And I remember, I don't know if you remember this or not, but at the time you and I were doing Marco Polo all the time.
Yeah.
We were messaging each other. And I was always like, in the summertime, I would write while I would sit by the pool. So I was like always in a bathing suit and a sun hat. sending you
Always.
yes,
Always.
because that's my happy place. That's my peace, And so you would have to suffer through these bathing suit videos of me, which sounds really inappropriate now that I say that. But
But just, for the listeners out there, I personally did not get sunburnt. So I was very, very safe in these videos.
this
So
is true. We talk about your beautiful porcelain skin and how if you were in the Kentucky sun, you would just spontaneously combust in a matter of seconds. So you never actually sit by the pool with me. But we
no.
talked back and forth on this Marco Polo, and I remember like messaging you and saying, hey, this guy reached out to me, and I was so excited. I was telling all my family. I was like, pray for me. I'm going to do 5 minutes before this show, and I'm so excited about it. And I was running the lines of what I was going to do with you over beside the swimming pool. And just trying to just make sure that I had this 5 minutes tight. And you had me ready, you had me prepared. And what's funny is the conference that year, the theme was trust. Do you remember those t-shirts? It had
Yeah.
a trust fall on it. And I,
Yeah.
and I just really spiritualized everything, so it was all about trust that I got on stage for the first time. And I was like, oh, here we go. I'm doing this in front of a real comedian and a real crowd. And then no lie, I'm going down I-65 towards this gig, and this tractor trailer pulls out, from a way station in front of me. And on the back of his vehicle, he had a Bible verse about trust. I took a picture of it. I took a picture of the back of this tractor trailer, and I was like, oh man, because God was just showing up. He's like, I told you to trust me, and I went to this thing and trust me on getting on stage, and I did. And even the t-shirt said trust. And now at my very first gig, I'm behind a tractor trailer that says trust on a Bible.
And it said slow down.
And it said wash me in the dirt. Wash me.
June doesn't she doesn't technically always follow the speed limit, or she's pushing boundaries.
Michelle, how would you know that? How would you know that I don't do the speed limit?
Because I've been in your truck.
There was, the reason why it was so dangerous is, you should be able to hear. You need to be able to hear, if there's sirens or anything or cars coming up behind you. And I really don't think it was my driving that was dangerous. It was your screaming that kept me from being able to actually hear.
Well, it was those amazing, Dukes of Hazzard's turns you were doing in and out of traffic. It was amazing.
Girl, get it. I was born northeast of Indianapolis. Everyone in my family were race car drivers. And we'll put the ears back on that F-150. I'm going to get you where you need to go. And we're going to get there fast. And you're going to have a good time. It was memorable, correct?
Well, from the Daisy Duke pool to the Daisy Duke driving, definitely memorable.
The cement pond to the highway. It was good times. But so I get behind this tractor trailer and I see this trust verse on the back. You probably know Bible verses that are about trust, but I, off the top of my head, I can't remember what it was. I just remember reading the verse. And I was like, wow, yes, Lord, I trust you. Here we go. Right. And so I get to the venue, and this was a high school graduation party. That's what this girl asked for her high school graduation party, was to have a comedian and put on a comedy show for her friends and family. Super cool. Right. And I'm in the parking lot, and I realize, one thing, I was wearing white pants, but not yet. Okay, so I wasn't going to drive wearing white pants.
Wait, so are you pantless, or do you have? Why are you wearing pants? What's happening?
Okay.
What is happening with our clean podcast, June? What is happening?
I had a form of breeches on. Okay, I had on my breeches. I had on my shorts.
So you're wearing your Daisy Dukes.
I was wearing I still have my bikini on. And I was headed to this gig with a Christian comedian in my bikini. Good night. I had pants on, Michelle.
Okay, go ahead.
Just not the pants I was going to wear. Okay, so just as a tip, I wasn't going to drive and then risk getting my pants dirty on the way there. So I was going to stop somewhere, at a rest area or something, or and I had seen the map, so there was a lot of restaurants and different stuff around, and so I didn't want to wrinkle my pants, but I wanted to wear these white pants because it was, summertime is whatever.
And
So
you want to drip the taco sauce on your pants because you like to eat and drive. I know.
exactly. So I pull over and I change my britches, and then I go to the parking lot, and I think he had told me what kind of vehicle he drove. And I'm waiting. I got there really early because I didn't want to be late and didn't know where I was going. And I'm waiting and I'm waiting. I'm not seeing him. He's not showing up. And suddenly I get a text message, and it's a picture of the interstate that he's on, and it's shut down. So I don't know if there was a fatality or what, but it was a major traffic jam. And he was traveling. He had been on vacation with his family, and he was traveling from that vacation back to Kentucky. And he was going to do this show, drop off the fam, and then pop on over and do this show. And it's just, the traffic is locked up, right? He's not moving. And I'm sitting in the truck, and he's like, I don't know that it's going to move anytime soon. I'm not sure what's going to happen here. And so I'm just waiting, and I'm waiting. And so I say, well, I'm a friendly person, and I can handle people pretty well. Do you want me to go in and kind of explain to the mom what's going on, and just at least give her a heads up? And he's like, he was so kind. He was like, you don't have to do that. This is not your position to have to handle this situation. If you want to, I would appreciate it, but don't think that I expect you to do that. I mean, he was just such a nice guy. And I was like, yeah, no, I don't mind. So I go in and I find the mom, and I say, let's give this person a name, because I don't ever want to tell the story and this person not, because he's a pretty amazing dude. What's
the comedian or the mom?
The comedian. Let's give him a name. Let's call him.
How about his real name? No?
Nah, we'll call him Bob, because I don't know. I just wouldn't want it to sound like this person put me in a bad position. Okay, so we'll call him Bob. Okay.
So Bob, the comedian. Now you're going to talk to the mom, Ann. We'll call the mom.
So I
Ann.
say, okay, Billy Bob, let me just go in and talk to him. Okay, let me just go in and talk to him. So I go in, and the mom's like, I'm sorry, what? And so it's a country club type place. And on like one of the big halls, there's a wedding going on, and there's all these people hustling around there. And I'm sitting in the lobby. Then they're eating dinner, and like in this big dining hall. And then after the meal, that's when we were supposed to come in, right? And so I'm standing outside talking to her, and I said, I know that there was kind of a plan for him to perform and then the meal or whatever, but if you want to kind of prolong the meal, then maybe that'll give him a chance. The traffic will open up.
Yeah.
And you could tell she was not happy. She was not very happy at all about it. But she was like, yes, we'll try that. We'll try that. So it's not moving. Traffic is not moving.
Oh, no.
Yes. And I'm just kind of wandering, and I'm waiting. And then she comes over to me, and she goes, okay, we're going to give him 15 more minutes, and then you just do whatever you do. Okay.
Wow.
I was like, okay, what I do is 5 minutes, right? And get paid for like a headliner show, and I got 5. And I was like, oh yeah, I should probably explain. I'm pretty much brand new at this. This was just going to be a 5-minute thing that I do, right? And she was like, well, whatever. I mean, we'll probably just have you do it. I said, okay.
Wow, she's happy with what's happening so far.
Not happy at all. So I messaged the guy, and I said, she just wants me to, quote, do my thing and get it over with. She said, and get it over with. So the stage is set for hilarity. The stage is set for, just a great room and a wonderful environment to do your very first paid gig, your first 5 minutes opening for somebody. So it's the clock's ticking. And then she just comes out and she goes, okay, we're doing it. We're just doing it. Okay. You ready? And I said, can I pee first? And she goes, I guess. And so, because I was ready to pee my pants, my white britches. I just changed into these pants, Michelle.
Yes, we know. You did that outside.
No, I went to a gas station. But yeah, so I go into this bathroom and the whole trust thing, I'm like, okay, well, there's nothing I can do but trust you, Lord, because it's just me and you, right? It's just the two of us. And I call Billy Bob and I'm like, okay, Billy Bob, I guess I'm doing my thing. And he was really cool. He was like, okay, here's what I would do. And if you want to run, I totally get it. If you want to get out of there. And I said, no, I think I just need to do this. I just need to go through this. And he said, okay. So he was kind of giving me advice of, how to make it the best of this horrible situation. And so I said, okay. So I said a little prayer. And I told the lady, I said, if you don't mind, because there was a lot of noise in the hall. I said, when I walk in, if you'll shut the doors behind me, that way we're not having the sound. And then they had this huge podium at the front, right? And I said, if you guys will just give me a microphone and move that podium out of the way, because there wasn't a lot of space at the front of the room. And she said, okay, whatever. And she went in. And she yelled at somebody, hey, move that podium. The girl doesn't want the podium up there. And I was like, oh, great. Okay, now I'm a diva because I don't want because there was no space for me. And I walk in and they close the doors. And it's like in a movie. It's just quiet. And it's that thump, like the doors just, oh. And now I'm like sealed in the vault of death at this moment. And I walk in, and as I walk through, this one teenager goes, well, that's not Billy Bob. Yeah. Obviously.
So Billy Bob has a lot of fans, and they were not expecting you.
They were not expecting me. No.
Oh, June.
Then another voice says, how much do you pay for entertainment anyway, Sheila? Whatever the woman's name was.
Sheila.
So, yes. So now I'm not Billy Bob. And how much have you paid for entertainment? And then there's just me, right? And I have my one little bit about fighting an imaginary friend. This is all I have. But what I did do, and I think we talked about this maybe in the first episode, what I did do was notice that there were a lot of Indiana and a lot of Kentucky license plates in the parking lot. So I only had 5 minutes of material, but I started out by like trying to make friends with these people in the room, right? So I say to the young lady, well, yeah, obviously I am not Billy Bob. I'm Junebug. And listen, I know that he wants to be here, and you guys have probably already heard that there was a car wreck and he's stuck in traffic and he really wanted to be here, but I'm excited to be here, and I start telling him like, I'm thrilled to be the person who's with you today. And so then I compliment the girl about how she chose comedy to start the next phase of her life, and congratulations on her graduation. And then I tell a story about my son had just graduated high school and how I had like mama graduation brain. And I like tried to connect with the mother in the back of the room about how some stupid things that I had been doing because I was just so emotionally like tore up about my kid, right, graduating. So they kind of warm up, and the girl nods at me or whatever, and I do my 5 minutes, and at the very end, this woman at this table, there's like an elderly woman in between two other elderly women. She has like one eye, the woman in the middle. And I don't know if she was squinted or if she's missing the eyeball. I don't know. I just know only one eye was open.
So this pirate woman.
Yes. She looks up at me with one eye and I'm like done. I'm like, well, thank you guys so much. I'm June Colson. And like two people went like, that's it. Just a couple claps. And there was like two people in the room that I just zoned in on that were smiling, nodding, like, we feel you, girl. This is awful. We get it. Right. But then that woman with the one eye goes, well, June Marie. And I was like, what? Did you just say June Marie? And I'm standing by her table. I'm still kind of in the front of the room. And she goes, yeah. And I'm like, that's my name. Like, my name is June Marie. And she goes, that's my sister's name. And she kind of nodded. And I thought she was nodding at the elderly woman beside her. And I go, oh, is this June Marie? And she goes, what? No, June Marie's dead. Right. Like, this episode's going to run long. I don't know what to tell you. So sure enough, June Marie was dead. And I had just died on stage, and I was like, "Okay, well, thank you very much, and God bless." And I like ran out the door. Yes, I ran out the door, ran to my pickup truck, and just like cut out of the parking lot 100 miles an hour. And I was low on gas, so I pulled over at the gas station. While I was pumping gas, I called my friend Billy Bob, and he's like, "Well, how'd it go?" And I said, "Oh my gosh, it was crazy, and, I'm so sorry. I really tried. I did, And, he goes, "Well, hey, I don't know, something went right because the traffic's opened up, and the lady called me, and she said, hey, we understand, and if you wanna come on, we'll wait for you." And
Wow.
she had already said, "Forget about it, just go on, whatever." She had, given up on him coming and told him to forget about it. But at this point, after I did whatever I did, I guess they felt bad enough and were like, "Well, now that we've seen that, let's see a real comedian." And he ended up getting to go do the show. But here's the deal, Pickles. I didn't die. They didn't steal my birthday. That wasn't like a comedy show that everyone in the world heard about. And now they're like, June's awful and she stinks and we're never going to hire her. It really was almost empowering leaving there and going, okay, I survived, you know?
Yeah. Wow. June Marie's dead.
How crazy is that?
That's crazy. That is a crazy. I'm hearing an echo on your side.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
This whole
Yeah.
time during that amazing story?
Only when I'm talking. There, that's better.
My volume, it's because I had you, this technology, Michelle. Okay, I had it turned up where I could hear you.
Can you hear me now?
I can't.
I think that story is amazing and hilarious. And because it ended up good for both of you, because Billy Bob got to go do the show. You could share who you're chatting about because, well, I don't know, ask him. And then if he says
Exactly.
yes, then if he says yes, we'll put his name down somewhere on this podcast. Oh, we'll put it in the show notes. I heard that there's a thing called show notes and they're like below.
Yes.
Like, in the description area or something.
Well, tell me about like your first gig, your like paid gig. Did it go as well as mine?
Yeah. I think my paid gig went a little bit better because I do remember I got paid with a hot dog, chips, and a soda. And a very awkward meeting with the pastor afterwards. It was an outreach to the community. And so that was fun and exciting.
What is awkward meeting with the pastor? What does that mean? Tell us more, Michelle.
You know what? I don't think I should. I think that information right there is probably enough. It had something to do with ketchup. And yeah, no, I'm not going to share it. I'll tell you off screen.
Okay.
Off the podcast.
And then I'll talk about it next time we do the podcast. So just go ahead and tell me and I'll make up my own version of it.
That'll be fine. That would be fine. That would be totally fine. But that was definitely one of the first paid gigs. And the prior one was I was hired by the same person to do an event called Blue Skies. And it was a fundraiser for some group. I can't remember exactly. And I was out in the field because that's what the stage was. The stage was a flatbed trailer out in the middle of this farmland, and it was a pigeon race. That's why it was called Blue Sky. Sky blue skies, whatever. So, the birds are flying around racing. And at one point during my portion of it, this goat just came up on stage. And I'm like, is there a goat wrangler here? So nobody came to get the goat. It took a while, and then my next event for this woman was I got paid with a hot dog and chips. So good times.
So when you say goat, you meant a real goat, not like the greatest of all time goat. It's not like you went, I'm the greatest of all time. It was a real life goat on stage.
It was an actual goat, little goat that came up on stage. And yeah, It just came right up there, just hopped right up on top. And it was definitely the last time that's why I don't do outdoor events. I'm really not into outdoor events. But I do still do them, but I don't like them. Uh,
Well, when everything kind of happened, like that was one of the first pieces of advice someone gave me in comedy was don't do outdoor events. There was this list of things that like are a formula for not a good show. And
yeah.
then, there's a group I write with in Tennessee, and I remember a few weeks in or a few months into everything being shut down, it went from don't do outdoor shows to y'all, how do we do an outdoor show? How can we set up? Where could we do a show
Yeah.
outdoors? Like, desperate times called for desperate measures. So these whole don't do Zoom and don't do outdoor shows, it's a different ball game, isn't it?
Yeah, the rules are out the window now. There are no more rules. And it really gets back to whatever stage you can get on it. You know,
Yeah.
start doing your comedy because the more and more frequently that you do your comedy, the better you get. And the more skilled, the timing, it flows so much better. But when you have an outdoor event and, you're at one part of the field and your audience is 100 yards away, that's not a good event. It's not a good event. Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
It's
I see you holding up the time at me. I see you
no,
flashing
not at
the light.
you. Like it's more at me of, oh look, June talked a lot today. What?
Yeah. What? June
But
talked a lot.
to
Okay,
be
well,
fair, you set it up like that. So
yeah, I did. So you know what? Let's go ahead and cut it off here. Let's just cut it off here. So this was our fourth episode, right?
fourth episode, yes.
Fourth episode. I totally forgot to do this. You can follow us on I don't know what that is. That's probably Facebook. And then our Instagram, the Laugh Support Podcast. You can follow June on Facebook and Instagram at June Colson Comedy. And if you want, you can follow me at Michelle's Comedy. Usually it's michellescomedy.com or whatever. Just Google our names. Just Google us. Just Google us.
Just give
And
it a
you'll
Google.
find
It's worth a Google, right?
it's worth a Google. And we'll be on YouTube and all that sort of stuff too. Anyway, thanks for tuning in today. June, take us out.
All right. Jesus and Junebug loves you. And Michelle, do it, Michelle. I'm going to do it every time till you do. Hello, Michelle and the Messiah. Tell you to take it higher. All right. That's it, y'all. Have a great day.
Bye.
Bye.